What's up, all you lovely internet movie fans, and welcome back to Caped Commentary. I'm your host, Austin Johnson, and we have a packed show today full of a ton of movie news that we have to dive into and discuss. We have news on the Batman Part 2 and when it's going to start filming. We have a Peacemaker Episode 3 Season 2 review, some big news regarding Call of Duty over at Paramount, The Conjuring with an absolutely phenomenal, record-breaking box office weekend, and then the big announcement that was just all over the place. You probably saw this one. James Gunn announces Man of Tomorrow. Not a sequel directly to Superman, but teases Superman. We have Lex with the war suit. This is a ton of movie news. Let's dive into it and discuss right now. Love you guys. Let's get into it. Let's first get things started with the Paramount Call of Duty movie. Now, if you didn't know, video game movies for the last really 5 or so years have pretty been popular. There was a time where video game adaptations were just terrible, but now they are all very well done. If you think about it, like look at Minecraft, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Both movies like 900 plus million box office, with Mario Bros. Making a billion. The Uncharted movie with Tom Holland, well, kind of like hit or miss on how it was received. Not a bad movie, I think, by any stretch of the imagination. Then look at The Last of Us, prestige television. What a show that is. So I think really with this genre, there's potential there. And then Paramount has been doing excellent as of late. And then there's a lot of ways you could take the Call of Duty movie too. So I'm intrigued by this concept. I mean, Call of Duty is the biggest gaming franchise of all times by like a lot. So I think there's a large, wide fan base that will have opinions on what it should be, but I think they will all show up to see what this movie is, and I think it has potential for sure. So I'm intrigued by this notion. I'm curious to hear what you guys think of the Call of Duty movie being made by Paramount, and just let me know your thoughts down below on if you like this and what other maybe video game adaptations you may like to see brought to the big screen. Now, let's pivot to Peacemaker. Episode 3, I thoroughly enjoyed. This whole season has been just a delight. I love the show of Peacemaker. John Cena is excellent as Christopher Smith, Peacemaker. And again, episode 3 brought us a lot in terms of him just thinking the grass is greener in this alternate dimension. But there's also some big revelations made. First off, the day of Corto Maltese, where Rick Flag goes off to the island, Project Starfish, Peacemaker ends up killing Rick Flag, and that's his whole revelation of he wants to be a hero, and he kind of regrets that because he doesn't mind ending people's lives. But Rick Flag he saw as a hero and was admired, and so that's why he feels regret for that. We find out that Rick Flag and Harcourt were a thing. She had genuine feelings for him, and yeah, like he was with Enchantress, but he liked Harcourt a lot. So this adds some added layers of depth now to this show and the relationship between Hardcore and Peacemaker, because there's something there, regardless on like the underlying things. We can see that as a parent, but we can kind of understand now from Hardcore's perspective why she is so standoffish and like doesn't really accept Peacemaker a lot of times and pushes him away, because we find out this information. And then we kind of pivot into the episode now, and again, Peacemaker's in the alternate dimension. He's like making like trying to make up with this version of Hardcore. She's like giving him the eyes, like they're like really hitting it off, having a great afternoon. And we find out that that dimension's Hardcore is also dating Rick Flag. So Peacemaker is kind of in a dilemma now because he finds it out and he kind of like realizes and like kind of flashes back to what he did. But they'll go out anyway. They have a nice afternoon, and then there's like a robbery at a bank, I believe. And Peacemaker rushes in. Harcourt's watching from afar. He goes like googly eyed, like, "Oh my gosh!" And he goes in. He takes out all the dudes, called the Sons of Liberty, I believe. And there's some pretty violent things, and it reminds you too, like the skilled kind of fighter and the great action that Peacemaker has. And there's one in for oh, with a pencil, like that one was great too. I really loved that one. Like I said, there's a lot of like great stuff in this episode too, and there's some interesting backstory too, because we see from the Argus perspective after like Tim Meadows and his like all his like gang, they kind of wake up, they're all in the hospital. He has a very funny line where he goes, "You didn't tell me he had a metahuman duck." Like, and he's like, "It's not a duck, he's an eagle." And he's like, "Don't make fun of my blindness. I know it's silly, but it's a real thing." Like the delivery is so funny. They're kind of recovering, but they're also getting ready to raid Peacemaker's house now for the quantum unfolding chamber. And so Peacemaker, being in the alternate dimension, isn't aware of this. And the episode kind of concludes with them, all the Argus agents, showing up to his house, guns ablaze, just like decked out. They're ready to go in, and Peacemaker exit his alternate dimension into his home reality, and that's where the episode ends with a lot being teased for the next episode. It's also interesting too with the alternate dimension. There are no persons of color at all, and you can look at there's none in the background. It would be funny if it's just like Earth X, where like all the Nazis and like those types of like people are, and Harcourt is like actually like the white dragon of that dimension or something like that. It just would be very funny. And he's gonna be like, wait a second, what the fuck? Like this alternate dimension is not the best dimension, like I stated. But Peacemaker episode 3, great. Can't wait to see what they bring this weekend. And also, side note, just another TV show aspect. If Peacemaker is great, watch Alien Earth 2. That show is outstanding as well. But I'm curious if you guys have seen Peacemaker, if you're watching this season, if you kept up, did you see episode 3? What did you guys think of the episode? And comment down below, and look forward to the episode coming this week. Now, let's go into The Batman Part 2, a movie that is highly anticipated by me that I cannot wait to come. We finally got official confirmation that it begins filming March of next year. So excited. March, is it March or April? One of those 2 months. I believe it's April actually. April of next year, 2026. So excited for this. Colin Farrell said he has read the script. He said it's extraordinary. He said don't expect him to have a big role. It's going to be a limited, smaller role. I just still love that. As much Penguin as I can have, I want him. We know Sophia Falcone, Krista Milioti, she's going to be in the show as well. I'm very curious where we go with this character of the Batman next, and see he's not vengeance anymore. He can't be that. He has to be something else now. Is he going to step into the Bruce Wayne kind of aspect more? But I just love the universe that Matt Reeves has built, the dark, gritty, grounded Gotham with Bruce, who's still in his young stage, but he's still like the world's greatest detective. I'm very curious to see who the villain is for this movie, what aspect they go. There's a Clayface movie that we know is also coming that's going to be set in the DCU, so it won't be associated with Matt Reeves' universe. So I'm very curious, and there's so many different lanes and villains they could pick. We know the Joker is teased, and he's going to be probably in the Batman Part 3, so we probably won't see him in this one. I think Mr. Freeze or Hush are prime candidates for the Batman Part 2, but let me know your thoughts on the Batman. How much did you like the first one? Because the movie is exceptional. What are your thoughts for Part 2? Where do you think they're going to go? And what are your thoughts on hearing that Colin Farrell's the Penguin isn't going to be a big part, but he's said the script is extraordinary. Now, the big news that broke everyone's brain last weekend, and like James Gunn, David Cornswell at DC, they all announced Man of Tomorrow, a follow-up, not direct sequel to Superman. And we got this awesome art drawn for the announcement by comic artist Jim Lee. First off, I wish Marvel would take note, and I hope other franchises in the comic book universe do this going forward. Announcing new projects with artwork, I love it. It looks great. And this is the big thing right here. We have Lex in his war armor suit. This looks exceptional. We're gonna finally get this in live action on the big screen. And I'm curious to see, are they gonna team up to fight some larger threat? Maybe like a Brainiac, Zod, Doomsday, Bizarro, or someone else? I don't know, but just the fact that we're getting that suit in general, and then I don't know if they're going to be teaming up, going against each other. Is it like where they go against each other, and they have to team up to fight some bigger threat? Is it the opposite, where they fight some bigger threat and then they go against each other? Like I don't know, but just the fact that we're getting Lex in the war armor suit, that bright, this green and purple flashing on the big screen, I can't wait to see what we get. And we've seen like online too. Isabella Merced has said can't wait. So, like, is Hawk Girl going to be it? Aaron Pierre commented on it. Is John Stewart going to be in it? Like I said, this isn't a Superman sequel per se. It's the next phase of that, like, Superman saga, but it's not a direct sequel. It's just called Man of Tomorrow. Now, that could mean many different things. Could that be referring to Clark, like Superman, as the Man of Tomorrow? There's lots of times where Lex has referred to himself as the Man of Tomorrow. And I think ultimately we are leading up to a President Lex. So it would make sense if Lex is in reference to the Man of Tomorrow. Like it could be multiple people, but it's referencing Lex. We are like, as like an audience, we hate Lex, but we see him fight some bigger threat, help Superman. The people of that universe are gonna be like, wait a minute, he helped save the world, and then that in turn leads to President Lex, perhaps. I don't know, but just this comic art alone, the announcement that we have Man of Tomorrow coming in 2027, July 2027, we're getting Man of Tomorrow, less than 2 years away. So I'm ecstatic about that. But let me know your thoughts down below on just this comic art alone. Are you excited for this Man of Tomorrow movie to be made? What are your thoughts? What are your expectations? Who do you think the villain could be? Let me know all your thoughts, and leave your comments down below. Finally, one other housekeeping note: The Conjuring Last Rites. What a massive opening that was! Over $190 million worldwide opening, breaks the record for the largest horror movie opening of all time, largest in the franchise clearly, and domestically opened to 84 million. By far the largest of the franchise too. Just massive, overperforming in every aspect of the term. What a weekend for The Conjuring, and I kind of like the movie too. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. That's all the movie news that we have for you guys this week. Thank you all for watching Cape Commentary. I will see you all next Tuesday around the same time, 3 to 3:30 p.m. every weekend, and leave your thoughts and see you guys. Peace.